Hello and welcome back to another segment of Cooking with Earnest Pugh. I'm happy to have you here with me in my kitchen. Today we're going to do homemade squash, and then I must go ahead and give y'all the meat because some of y'all, while we got very good reviews of the cooking, my southern folk were like, listen, you know you better put some meat in it. So today we're also going to have smothered pork chops. And I'm gonna also show you how to make my mom's homemade gravy with it, okay? So we're gonna start off real simple here. We're going to just make you aware of some of the ingredients. We're gonna mix in garlic pepper, seasoned oil, and just a little bit of salt. And then we're gonna also have a half a stick of butter and about a third of an onion to make that amazing. And then later on, we're gonna come with our pork chops almost at the same time while that's kind of simmering. And we're gonna season our pork chops with seasoned oil, with a little bit of pepper, and then just salt. I keep it real simple. I don't like to do a lot of sodium. You need about 4 tablespoons of flour that you're gonna actually put them in once you've seasoned them. So it's all gonna come together nicely. And so we're gonna go ahead and get started with some of the directions, all right? So the first thing I want to do, because I'm going to be actually using, I love to put bacon. Sometimes I may do turkey legs, but I love to do bacon. So we're going to cut up our bacon here. I'm going to cut this up in some small pieces. And then we're going to actually get the bacon and the butter started first. And then we're going to add in, all of our seasonings. Okay? And we go very slow with this. Put your surface on like a medium heat. And then we just take our time with that so that we can go and start on other things. Again, I love to do bacon. Bacon kind of comes with its own seasoning. So I use it with a lot of things. When I'm not doing bacon, you'll see that I'm using turkey necks or turkey legs. But you want to get that good southern, that very good southern seasoning in there. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do, so we're gonna start with our butter. We're gonna go ahead and melt our butter. Everything is cooking on a medium. We have our surface on like a medium temperature. Okay, and then while that's going, let's go ahead and get our bacon in there. And with our bacon and our butter, it does its own little thing. But while we're doing it, hey, go ahead and add all your other seasonings and let that kind of start. We're gonna put in all of our seasonings. It's gonna be amazing. Gotta have onion. Okay. And so this will take us a good 5-7 minutes or so. And once we get all of this mixed up and sauteed nicely, we'll come back. And we'll add about 2 cups of our water in this so that we can get all of the nice seasonings working together. Like the scripture says, all things work together for good. So you're gonna keep that going, let that fester, let that go. And then after about a good 5 to 7 minutes, when you get it almost to a boil, you'll go ahead and you'll add the squash. You got about 4 squash here. And so what we're going to do is once we get them in there, let's then begin to mix all of our ingredients up. Okay? We're going to actually put a top on this and we're going to let this simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes. And while we're doing that, we're going to start on something else, all right? Okay, and so as we mentioned earlier, we have here our seasoned oil. We got a little pepper and a little dash. Go ahead and mix all of those together. And what I do is I just sprinkle on the front of the meat, come back, turn it over, and you do the same thing on the opposite side. Get all your seasonings in there. Turn that over. Turn that over. It all works together for good. You bring it all together. Okay, and then once you have the pork chop all the way completely seasoned, I like to kind of turn it over a little bit more, let it marinate a little bit. You'll go ahead, you got about 4 tablespoons of flour here. So I'll go ahead and I'll just spread it all over, because what I'm going to do is once I get done spreading it over, I'm going to turn them over like I did before when I was seasoning. And then you bathe it in this flour. Make sure you get it all covered. Go to the next one. See? Let them just kind of marinate there and be friends with one another. And we already have our stove. Our surface is on about a medium heat. We're gonna fry the pork chops for about 8 minutes on each side, okay? Okay, so now that we have seasoned in and we bathed our pork chops in the flour, we're now going to, on a medium, the surface is on about a medium heat. You'll go ahead and start putting your pork chops in the grease. And I only like to do like about 2 at a time. Get one last. See there? So we got them on about a medium heat. Now it's indicated we're going to, once again, we're going to fry them for about 8 minutes on each side. I may even want to turn my eye down even a little bit more, because I like for it to take its time. But it's on a medium heat right now. May want to go down just a little bit. And then, like I said, 8 minutes on each side. As you can see, you have both things going at the same time. You're still cooking your squash, and then you got the fried. Now, once we get these fried, I got another surprise for you. Okay, we're right at about 7.5 going on to 8. As you can see, pork chop has kind of got a nice golden brown color to it. They were rising in the grease, so you can tell that they're cooked through and through. So we'll continue. Meanwhile, you want to kind of check on your squash. So your squash are still doing what they're doing here. Still marinating, still cooking. You got about another 8-10 minutes for the squash. Okay, now that we have about 8 minutes on each side, see how it's golden, got the golden brown? Go ahead and put them on a plate so that you can kind of drain some of the, you want to drain some of the grease onto here while you're waiting to cook that last pork chop, okay? But as you can see, they golden, got the nice golden brown look to them. All right. We're gonna put in our last pork chop, but while we're doing that, we'll kind of chat a little bit. Okay, so like you said, we got the squash marinating and simmering. They're gonna cook again for about 15 minutes. And then we got both of our pork chops. We've cooked both of the pork chops so far on each side for about 8 minutes. We got our last pork chop in right now. And I wanna just chat it up with you a little bit while we're waiting for everything to complete. As you know, they have opened up some of the cities, but come on y'all now. I want y'all to use wisdom and make very sound medical decisions, because you know getting your nails done is not essential. If I catch any of y'all in the gym, okay, I'm just gonna get a bat and just start, I don't know, beating y'all in the back or something. Because we want to see the curve flatten, and of course we don't want to overload our healthcare systems and see a repeat of what we saw. So let's be very vigilant. Let's use wisdom. With regard to me, I'm going to be doing many more lives on my page. The next live I do, which you'll see the date, the time, and the place on my page. We're going to do just the hits. People have been saying, hey, we love all the new music that you're doing, but can you kind of mix in some of the hits? So we're going to go back and add some of the hits. Again, the Outpour Experience comes out on May 22nd, but a few days ago rather, we began to have access to pre-sales. And you know, you immediately get 2 tracks. You get Grateful and you get God Wants to Heal You. And we thank you for calling your local radio stations. God Wants to Heal You is top 10 now on the Billboard chart, and it's still rising, still impacting. Our world needs healing. And so that is our objective. The Outpour Experience, I cannot wait to start letting y'all hear some of the features I had on there. Amber Bullock did an amazing job with the sound. Got a good friend of mine, Marquis Walker, out of Tennessee, wrote, and the legendary Betty Keller. You may remember her back from the James Cleveland days, but we brought back another version of the grace of God. And when I tell you, be ready for your souls and your hearts and your minds to be blessed as this woman of God ushers us into the very presence of God. Like I say all the time, I teamed up with the Dream Team, Mike Burrell, Keith Williams, they put it down. This is going to be really good. It's my 12th album, and I'm not tired yet, all right? But I do want to check on this meat, okay? And we're going to come back and chat a little bit more. Okay, that's still waiting. We got 8 minutes on one side. Now we got 8 minutes coming on the other side. Okay, so back at full disclosure again, while I'm cooking, y'all know I explained to you how the wine is very healthy for me. I've dealt with colitis in past times, so it really helps with the whole digestive system. So it's during the day, so you can do something light like this is a moscata. This is real easy and light. So I do want to just talk a little bit about, again, about the whole, I forgot what I was going to talk about. What was I going to talk about? And so let me know. I've been getting very good input about the Cooking with Earnest Pugh. You let me know if you got a meal that you would like to see me put my spin on. I know eventually I'm going to show y'all. I grew up in the house with a whole bunch of sisters, and my mom was just determined. She was like, listen, I don't care who you marry. You're going to still be able to cook, to clean, to sew, to do everything that she can do, so that if anything, God forbid, does happen, you will be able to take good care of yourself. So my mom in her latter days actually preferred my turkey and dressing over my sister's. And so that's one of the things that I want to eventually show you. But I would love to hear some of the cooking ideas and desires that you have. I'll put my spin on them. Y'all just inbox me and let me know what you want to see me cook. I'm a Southern guy, so it goes a little bit different for me. But again, I'm really trying to focus on some of the lighter foods because we don't want to overwhelm our immune systems to break down meats and a lot of things. We want them to be as robust and as strong as possible. So I'm letting y'all have a cheat day to have some fried meat, but I really try to keep you away from the fried meat. As you know, the African American community is the hardest hit with the pandemic that we're facing, and it's mostly due in part to underlying health issues such as diabetes, hypertension, things of that nature. So our diet and exercise have a lot to do with that. So we want to really address those matters and be as healthy as we can, all right? Let's check on the food. All right, we got maybe about 2 more minutes on our last pork chop, but let's go back and visit these squash over here. Remember the squash? It's nothing long. That's why I like to do 2 things at one time. They cook for about 12 to 15 minutes on medium heat. So as you can see, they are just about ready. They'll be ready in about 5 minutes, and your pork chop is just about ready to come out. So let me show you what's going to happen here. I told you I had a little surprise for you with the pork chop. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and drain this one, let this one kind of drain over there. But what I'm getting ready to show you how to do now is we're going to make my homemade gravy. Oh, y'all ain't ready for this. So I'm getting ready to, what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep about maybe 1/3 of this gravy and then mix in some ingredients that I'll make you privy to, all right? Okay, so we're going to pour really the majority of this out, and watch what I leave. I'm only going to leave about 1/3 of this still in there. You see that? And that's going to allow us to kind of get our stuff going with the mixings here for the gravy. You see that? I kept some of the flour in the bottom, but this is what I'm getting ready to do. So with the homemade gravy, we already got a little grease in there. We're going to put now our onions. And we're going to turn this heat down even lower than medium because we want this process to go very slow. So we're going to put onions, believe it or not, put a little bell pepper in there. And then you top it off with about 1 tablespoon of flour. And see, here's where all the work comes. Let's put that last little bell pepper in there. You also want to put maybe a hint, just a hint of pepper. I love pepper. And I'm falling in love more with the seasonings because if you focus more on the taste of food, you don't focus so much on salt. Just a hint of salt. See that? That's about all. That's probably about 1/3 of a teaspoon of salt. And then once you get all of that, remember we turned our eye down. You see what I'm doing here? We're going to stir this and we're going to brown this flour. This flour is going to become brown. We're sauteing onions and we're sauteing bell peppers, okay? We got a little seasoning in there. Some people may want to put a little mushroom. I don't really care a lot for the mushrooms, but it goes over good. As you can see, I'm working to get this seasoning and everything kind of sauteed with the onions and the bell peppers. And then I'm gonna pour about a cup of water in here. And I'm gonna cover it and let it simmer, and it is going to be amazing. Again, I like to put a lot of emphasis on seasonings, because when you put a lot of emphasis on seasonings, you're not so focused on sodium and putting so much salt. No, just fall in love again with the seasoning. Meanwhile, you can go ahead and turn the squash off because they are already done. All right, so now that we've got that all sauteed and ready to go, let's go ahead and let's do about a cup of water. So let's put a cup of water. And then let's continue to stir it around, because we are going for a very smooth texture here. We're going for a real smooth texture. But what we're gonna do for about another 2 minutes with this low heat is we're gonna cover the gravy. It'll continue to saute. And at the end of this, this process, we're going to then put the meat back inside, and we're gonna let it all mix together so that the seasonings of the pork chop and the seasonings of the gravy all come together. And you'll feel the power of God come in the room, okay? Okay. So, you see it's slightly boiling. You'll go ahead now and we'll add our pork chops back into the gravy. This time they've gotten smaller, so we will put all 3 of them, but it's on a very low heat. Okay. There you go. Now, once I put them back in, I put just about another half a cup of water, and then we're gonna turn the heat down once again and let them do what they do. They're gonna marinate. The 2 shall become as one, all right? So we'll be back in a second and let you see how that looks. And there you have it. We have my homemade squash, and we also have my smothered pork chops with my mother's homemade country gravy. You can't beat it. So as you know, you guys won't be able to taste it, so you're gonna have to just go by what I'm telling you. I'm telling you, it is an auspicious menu, seasoned perfectly. I wish you could smell it. So amazing. But eventually, when everything opens back up, you'll be able to join me. Meanwhile, you just gotta take my word for it. Perfect. It's perfect. Let's go over here and check this squash out. You wanted meat and we gave you meat. So again, the butter and all the seasonings do all the work for you. Real easy, real quick. You can do this. This can be a lunch, or it could even be a dinner for you. And it's not too heavy on your immune system. So once again, today in our kitchen, I'm gonna throw it on like I really want to once we turn these cameras off. But this is my smothered pork chop. I would have preferred to have done this in a baked setting, but I had my southern people telling me, do not play with us, give us something fried. So there you is, gave you something fried and even sprinkled it with gravy. Again, let me know what you'd like to see me cook and put my spin on it. I would be honored to do it in my kitchen. You are here cooking with Earnest Pugh. We'll see you at our next segment.